Kita panjatkan puji dan syukur kehadirat Ilahi Rabbi. Alhamdulillah pada siang hari ini kita akan mengikuti webinar dengan tema Optimizing Gain of Research Methodology. Yang saya hormati Pak Kaprodi, Bapak Supri Widodo, Pak Dr. Joko Haryono sebagai dokter tamu, ya, dosen tamu di UPI Kampus Purwakarta sekaligus ya sebagai penghubung ya antara UPI Purwakarta ini dengan Pak Ajmal Shahbaz. Distinguished guest, Dr. Ajmal Shahbaz from Korea, I think, yeah. Who can spend your time for our student and our webinar participant. I think we need to know that our students are information technology and system technology of UPI that preparing for a teacher in senior secondary vocational school. So I think your topic today will be benefit for student in our university in Purwakarta. Kami ucapkan selamat ya pada para peserta tentunya yang akan mengikuti webinar pada hari ini. Mudah-mudahan apa yang akan beliau sampaikan pada kita akan sangat bermanfaat, sangat berguna ya. Apalagi sekaitan dengan topik teknologi dan sistem teknologi ini sangat berguna, bermanfaat di masa yang akan datang dan akan senantiasa terus berkembang kelihatannya ya. Kita sekarang sudah masuk ke industri 4.0 or society 5.0, which is this situation is need your knowledge and your skill in the computer technology. So Mr. Ajmal Shahbaz PhD will be explain to our student whether the knowledge, I mean the skill of the student need to be improved, how our thinking or our skill be improved by using technology in the area of technology. Dr. Ajmal Shahbaz very skillful, I think. Yeah. Therefore, we need your experience in doing research in the area of technology, and please tell us about the dealing with the technology system of information. Sekali lagi kami ucapkan selamat pada semuanya dan mudah-mudahan hari ini kita memperoleh sesuatu yang berguna untuk masa yang akan datang. Terima kasih Pak Joko, Pak Supri, Pak Ajmal ya, and all of the participants. Have a nice seminar, have a nice webinar for us today. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih kepada Profesor Turbudi MSD PhD yang telah memberikan sambutannya. Mengijak acara selanjutnya yaitu acara inti. Nah, yaitu pemaparan mengenai materi oleh pemateri yang akan disampaikan oleh Bapak Ajmal Shahbaz yang akan dimoderatorin oleh Dr. Joko Haryono selaku moderator. Kepada Bapak Joko Haryono, disilahkan.
Baik, terima kasih Mas Dimas selaku pembawa acara. Terima kasih juga kami sampaikan kepada Profesor Turmudi yang berkenan membuka acara webinar hari ini. Sebagaimana disampaikan bahwa webinar ini sebenarnya adalah rangkaian dari proses pembelajaran, terutama di metodologi penelitian, di mana ini adalah salah satu mata kuliah yang mencoba menggali lebih banyak tentang best practice penerapan penelitian baik di maupun mungkin kita coba mengambil dari beberapa narasumber penulis asing atau narasumber dari asing. Nah, pada kesempatan ini sebetulnya rangkaian yang kedua. Kalau yang pertama dulu kita mengundang narasumber dari rekan saya dari Rusia, Mr. Alexander Filonenko, dan yang kedua ini kita mengundang salah satu sahabat dekat saya. He is my best friend from Republic of Korea. We have studied together in intelligence system laboratory, which is the highest quality research will be produced from this 4 years ago. I study in University of Busan. He is a junior. He is my junior. However, now his research paper higher than me. I mean, it's more impactful paper compared with the many seniors. That's why I invite him to give a lecture and share his experience how he can produce many paper in high quality paper or high impactful journal. That's why today I think this lecture will be interesting. We can hear how Ajmal can spend his about 4 years to write many good journal papers. I think this is very interesting. So jadi yang menarik dari Ajmal ketika 4 tahun lalu, waktu itu saya sudah masuk ke tahun ketiga. Beliau ini sangat junior sekali, bisa dibilang pengetahuan tentang computer vision atau computer science tidak begitu banyak. Tapi menginjak tahun keempat atau tahun terakhir, beliau bisa menulis jurnal dan ini terpublikasi di jurnal paper yang +5 semua. Bahkan bisa dibilang number one factful journal in IEEE journal, especially in computer science and electrical engineering. That's why this is very interesting. So now you introduce yourself and also how you can work very well in the research field. Let's start, Ajmal. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Joko, for your introduction. When I joined the lab, Dr. Joko was graduating from the university, so I spent like almost 1 year something with him, and I had really good experience about. Actually, he helped me a lot to start working on the research. So everyone can see my slides, right? So the topic I choose to discuss today with you guys is optimizing gain of research. As a PhD student or as a master student or as a research student or even as a professor, we have to publish a good number of papers to graduate or excel in the field. So before I go to the topic, I want to give my introduction. First, I did Bachelor's of Electronics Engineering from Islam University of Bahawalpur. It's in my hometown, and in Pakistan. And after graduating, I moved after like 6 months or something. I moved to Korea for uh, integrated course, master's and PhD course. So it was almost like 6 years. And in University of Ulsan, I studied in intelligence system lab, same like Dr. Joko. And we in the lab we are working in computer vision as a whole, and we uh, combine artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning to study further. And during my PhD, I usually work in chain detection or object classification and detection and semantic segmentation. Uh, and During my PhD, I needed to at least get to high level journals so I could graduate from the university. Um, I publish basically I publish 3 journals, but 2 of them are in the top 1 or top 2 in IEEE transaction on industrial electronics. It is actually considered number 1 in control engineering and as the top 1 in overall electrical engineering. And then I also published 1 paper in transaction on industrial informatics, even though its impact factor is more higher than TIE, but it's in top 2%. And later I published also, the journey was not just like I published the transaction. It was more like conference papers and then combining them to form transactions or journal papers. So why we need to publish papers? Uh, why is in research, why is more important than how or what, right? But for us, for students, PhD students, for professors, if we don't do publications, we cannot advance in our career. As for example, you need some papers in form of uh, a low impact factor or high impact factor, and someone is someone's mic is open. Can they mute their mic? I can hear myself. I think Professor Termody.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I'll do.
yeah, I can hear myself. So the thing is, you have to publish or you perish. And if you don't publish, your career is not really advancing. Even for students like us, if now I get the good publication, but after maybe 2 or 3 years, I don't get a good publication, I cannot advance in getting further projects or a good job. So publication is really important for us, everyone. And for optimizing the gain, I would give my suggestions in the form of five subparts, like what would be your choice of research topic, imagination. It's, I think, more important than even like getting the publication. uh, your research work, imagination, technical contribution of your work, and your presentation skills, not like presentation, like the writing and your storytelling and your graphs and figures. And at the end, you need a good amount of luck for your publication. So even you don't have to do anything about that, but still I want to discuss about that. So when you start, either you are a new researcher or you already did some research, this is very important thing. If you have a if you start working in a research topic which is newly in the field, for example, like 5 years ago, deep learning was a new topic, right? CNNs or something like that. So it is easier to identify the challenges and tackle them, and the research gap is a lot bigger than the saturated one. So it's more easier to get acceptance, because when you try to do some uh, publication, you submit, and the reviewers, they say, okay, let's, even though it's like a new topic, so you have did that, but they don't question you like, oh, this work is already published in some other journals, or this already done. So if you want to follow some new research topic, I would suggest that you follow top ranked conferences. Conferences is more better than a journal, because journals have very wide research spectrum. But in case of conferences, they have you can like get the idea which are the more uh, hot field now. And during my work, my research work, even though I'm still researching, during my student time, I used to follow blogs from GitHub, or let's say Medium, and there were like scientists who used to publish blogs about what was the current trend in the conferences. Like they would make a like percentage of papers from some field like AI or deep learning or computer vision or something like that, like broadly speaking. And in that case, it was easier for me to understand, oh, how the world is moving. And mostly the top conferences, they are moving towards the most hot topic of the world. So it would be nice, better idea to search them and search some that kind of blogs. And why I'm not why I'm not in favor of choosing a saturated research topic is because there's there are already so many papers, and they have you cannot cover all of those papers and try to find the challenge. Even though you can find the challenge, but you cannot publish easily. Whenever you submit your paper, even though you have a good contribution, reviewers may, one or two reviewer, they will tell you that, oh, it's already done, so it should be rejected. So your paper is easily rejected in that way. Um, and the of course this is imagination. I mean, I don't know how can I, imagination is everywhere. You cannot say it's the first thing or a last thing or a second thing, but I would say imagination is your only limitation. If you want to publish, for example, you have some research work and you think, oh, I think this research is not good to be published in some high impact factor. This is your limitation, right? That you don't imagine your paper in that journal. Well, of course, same same thing happens as a student, for me as well, because we don't, as a researcher, young researcher, you don't know what is your worth of your research. So imagination is your thing. You have to imagine, okay, yeah, I can publish in there. And if you can imagine, you can do that. If you see like all the examples of high tech we have, like mobile phones, or like we are doing video calling. We used to see, maybe I think in the Hollywood movies, they like a futuristic movies like a Star Trek, that they are video calling on Skype. So now we are doing the same thing after like some years, right? So people imagine so they can create that, right? So please don't stop imagining, even whatever your research is, but don't stop. Keep trying, imagine, and try to publish high impact factor. So this is my most important advice for everyone, every researcher. And then the second most important thing for your high impact factor journal is that you need a really strong contribution. maybe you may come up with a good idea, um, but how that contribution is, are you proposing a new thing? So you need to give an overview that, oh, we do this thing like this, we propose new algorithm, and in the past how the other algorithms are different from you. And then if you propose a algorithm, you have to properly uh, show that what is different from your algorithm and the previous algorithms. So in that case, I would suggest like uh, do a really good related work section of your paper. Uh, Whenever you read some paper, you do some, maybe you make a summary of one paragraph, maybe few lines that can help you for your future writing of your high impact factor journal. And also, if possible, try to summarize your algorithm and other algorithms as the figures. Like, for example, you have uh, algorithm A, B, C, D, and your algorithm is E. So you should like you should be able to make a clear figure that how your algorithm is different from them in a very concise way. So that's how you can clarify, because even though you have a good impact contribution, you need, it's your job to make sure that the reviewer understand what you did. uh, in my case, for example, I learned that in a hard way. I used to be like, oh, everything is there, why the reviewer cannot understand? But the thing is, reviewer is a critic. He won't give you for your goal. And if you see, it's more like a storytelling, right? And then if you have your, you need to answer three very important question about your contribution: what you do, why you do, and how you do. And you need to support these three important uh, questions by experimentation, visualization, like how it improved your idea. And in case of like a why, uh, you can cite other papers as like, oh, I inspired from this paper, or I inspired from this paper and this paper, and they do this, so I think I follow their idea, and it improved some results of your algorithm. So that's how you can answer why, for example. So you need to be very precise and clear about your contribution. And again, it's, of course, it's like I think most important that how you present your idea. Like I said before, you need to be a really good storytelling uh, to to get your idea to be propagated to the other people. You cannot just like write something and give, and you feel like the other people will understand what you are trying to say. You need to organize your paragraphs with a good flow between them, so there's a connection from previous paragraph and the next paragraph, and the reviewer can understand what you're trying to do or what you're trying to say. And this is, of course, it's an art, and it's not easy to get used to that kind of art. So in my case, I would suggest that you try to read your paper as much as possible, like 5 times or 6, maybe 10 times. And you should be your critique as well. You don't consider yourself as the author. You critique your own work. You think, oh, why this thing is like that, or why, how can you improve that paper? So when you are critiquing yourself, it's you improve your work a lot. And another thing is, when we write some as a non-native speaker, maybe I don't know about native speaker, but when we write one paragraph, we are very reluctant to delete any word from that paragraph. We are like, oh, this is the best thing we could write. But that's not true. You have to read again, and revise that idea more and more. And for especially for high impact factor journals, the next two things, English writing and high quality figures, they are a lot. Um, According to some editors in IEEE, they say like they reject like 30 to 50% papers on based of that. So when you submit your paper, maybe after 2 months, 3 months, you get review and your paper is rejected because you have mistakes of English writing, and they are very small. Of course, small mistakes are not. It's not like a reason that say that small mistakes are not. It's okay to be make a small mistakes. It's not, but they help you. They can get your paper rejected very easily, because every year some journals they get thousands of uh, submissions of their paper, and they cannot go around all the papers for review, so they clean the paper like that. The reviewers they think, oh, this is small mistake, so the author is not professional and they don't want to work hard on their paper, so they reject their paper. I remember I also got one reviewer. He reading my paper. I think on the first page, he read the paper and he finds some small mistakes of noun verb agreement, uh, and he rejected my paper. So that happens to me as well. Um, so I would suggest. I mean, you write paper, so I understand it's really hard to get rid of all the mistakes as a non-native speaker. So I would suggest if it's better you use some editing service to improve your English of the paper. It really helps a lot. So if you use editing service, maybe your paper not rejected because of your small mistakes. And then high quality figures and graphs. If your figures are blurry, it's really hard to understand for the reviewer. He or she may say, oh, that that author is not really trying to represent his work to us, so he may reject your uh, paper. He won't like reject like a resubmit or something, but you will end up wasting 2 or 3 months just because you had a blurry image in your paper. And of course, all these factors add up, right? So in this case, I will suggest you use Microsoft Visio and always convert your images into PDF and use latex software to uh, show your images. So it will be better for you to show in that way. And in the last, I would summarize that you need a good amount of luck uh, for your paper. You did hard work on your research, you did a good contribution, you end up revising your paper really good, but it's not the last thing you need to worry about. You also need a good amount of luck for your uh, review review process, because in high impact factor journals they don't easily accept your paper. Even the reviewers, they give you a good review, you may end up getting a lot of reviewers, like the editor add more reviewers. So first thing I would say, the good reviewers, the reviewers that don't, they ignore your small mistakes and they understand your contribution, that oh, it's a good contribution. There are reviewers who, even they, you have a good contribution, they reject the paper saying this contribution is not enough to publish in journal. So I don't understand how they can say that, but again, it's they are reviewer and they have that power to do that. and of course editor follow what they say, right? So good reviewers is very important. In my case, I had my paper rejection after 1 year of review. I submit, it was a major review, and then submit and major review. And again, when I submit, I answer the other reviewer. They the editor added new reviewer, and that new reviewer, he said, oh, this paper is not a good quality to be published in this journal. And after 1 year of review, they rejected the paper, and you cannot do anything about that. So this brings me to the second point, number of reviewers. In high impact factor journals, for in my case, uh, I at one point I was answering to 9 reviewers of my paper to get my paper accepted. So if you have this kind of reviewers who don't accept your paper easily, the editor keep adding more reviewers to mm, either get acceptance or rejection. But in that way, if you have more reviewers, your paper is easier to be rejected, because more people, they have different opinions and they don't uh, want to accept your paper. And mostly in the high impact factor journals, the reviewers, they want to reject your paper, so they are looking for small points so they can easily reject your paper to get rid of your paper actually. So there are many hard things to cover for high impact factor journals, but these are the things I want to overview. And yeah, I will conclude my presentation with this uh, note. I'm very thankful that Dr. Joko invited me and give me a chance to give an overview of my experience of research. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ajmal. Dr. Ajmal. Ya, I will review in bahasa Indonesia first. Baik, rekan-rekan sekalian, Mr. Ajmal, Dr. Ajmal telah menjelaskan bahwa ada beberapa hal yang cukup menarik dalam proses penulisan jurnal, dalam hal ini ya, publikasi ilmiah jurnal, bahwa sebenarnya proses penulisan jurnal itu merupakan rangkaian yang panjang, artinya tidak hanya sekali tulis dan itu langsung mendapatkan hasil. Bahkan bisa dibilang bertahun-tahun, many years to spend the time to get acceptance from the journal publisher. Ya, untuk mendapatkan acceptance atau diterima dan dipublish di jurnal ternama dalam ini yang impact-nya sangat tinggi, itu butuh waktu bisa antara 1 sampai 2 tahun, bahkan mungkin ada yang lebih. Artinya kalau pada saat review pertama mungkin major review, terus ada juga yang dikembalikan untuk disubmit kembali. Jadi pekerjaan penulisan jurnal itu merupakan pekerjaan yang memang terlihat sangat meletihkan, melelahkan. Namun memang proses improve-nya itu sangat terlihat atau terasa sekali. Jadi kalau ada rata-rata katakanlah 5 sampai 6 reviewer, masing-masing reviewer itu memberikan katakanlah tanggapan-tanggapan yang mungkin sifatnya baiki atau meningkatkan kualitas tulisan kita atau metode yang kita usulkan, itu memang dampaknya akan sangat terlihat. Dan memang sebenarnya kejelian itulah yang membedakan antara penulis-penulis yang disampaikan Mr. Ajmal tadi, bahwa penulis-penulis yang beliau itu memang ulet untuk bisa mendapatkan penerimaan dari jurnal berimpact tinggi, itu akhirnya terlihat bahwa dia memang bisa adaptasi dengan berbagai jenis, berbagai orang, tipikal orang reviewer. Namun kita kembali ke mata kuliah metodologi penelitian. bahwa kita dalam perkuliahan kita juga membahas mengenai apa namanya, subbagian dari proses menulis menulis penelitian ilmiah atau sebuah penelitian. Dan kalau disampaikan Mr. Ajmal tadi sebetulnya yang menarik adalah yang pertama cara kita memilih topik itu menjadi sesuatu yang kelak menjadi bahan bakar kita dalam melakukan riset yang sifatnya tidak pendek atau jangka panjang. Jadi ketepatan memilih topik itu menjadi salah satu yang nanti menjadi bahan bakar kita untuk terus melakukan riset di bidang tersebut. Sehingga jangan sampai pilihan riset kita itu merupakan pilihan yang sifatnya hanya jangka pendek atau karena hanya ikut-ikutan trennya sekarang seperti apa, tapi tidak mempertimbangkan kapabilitas yang kita punya. Nah, dengan kapabilitas yang kita punya, minat memang interesting area yang ingin kita perdalam itu di situ, itu akan menjadi bahan bakar yang terus istilahnya memberikan semangat kita untuk bertahun-tahun berjuang agar publikasi kita bisa diterima di jurnal yang impact-nya tinggi tadi. Terus yang kedua sebetulnya imagination ini memang dalam hampir setiap saat Profesor Kang Hyun Jo, dia profesor saya juga sekaligus Profesor Dr. Ajmal, dia selalu mengatakan bahwa ketika kita melakukan sesuatu itu kita harus punya kemampuan imajinasikan itu ke beberapa tahun ke depan. Artinya yang kita lakukan ini bukan hanya sekarang, tapi kita membayangkan bahwa di beberapa tahun ke depan itu kira-kira publikasi kita ini masih layak tidak, atau masih punya ruang tidak untuk dibahas artinya di forum-forum yang memang impact-nya cukup tinggi tadi. Nah, kalau hanya tren sekarang tapi tidak menjadi sesuatu yang nanti bisa menyelesaikan masalah di beberapa tahun kemudian, itu beliau selalu mengingatkan imajinasikan itu, dan itu kita harus bisa membuktikan dalam bentuk katakanlah tren-tren karya ilmiah itu dari tahun ke tahun, apakah dia naik atau apakah dia turun, dan itu kita harus meyakinkan dulu ke profesor kita waktu itu, sehingga imajinasi ini menjadi sesuatu yang cukup penting. Dan yang ketiga ini yang memang sebetulnya areanya sudah di level S2 dan di S3, jadi sudah masuk ke technical contribution. Jadi kalau di level S1 itu kita masih belajar berkontribusi, jadi biasanya masih menerapkan model amati, tiru, dan modifikasi. Jadi kita cukup menggunakan metode orang lain, mungkin itu masih dianggap cukup memadai. Tapi kalau kita sudah di level S3 atau lagi nanti kita coba submit di jurnal yang memang di kelas atas, itu pasti technical contribution ini menjadi satu pertimbangan yang kuat bahwa yang kita lakukan itu memang benar-benar punya kontribusi yang jelas terhadap keilmuan kita. Nah, yang sering terlewat dari kita bahwa sebenarnya penelitian kita itu memang adalah buah pemikiran kita, artinya imajinasi yang kita buat, dan juga sesuatu yang kontribusi yang memang kita usulkan. Tapi terkadang kenapa riset kolaborasi itu sangat penting, karena seperti yang saya sampaikan di teman-teman sekalian, bahwa silakan Profesor. Terima kasih Profesor Turmudi atas waktunya. Mungkin sebelum live, Profesor Turmudi ada masuk ini
Sudah
yang
cukup
bisa
saya
disampaikan.
lanjut ya. Terima kasih.
Baik Profesor, terima kasih atas waktunya. Baik, riset collaboration itu sangat penting karena memang ide kita itu kalau belum bisa berhasil kita yakinkan kepada teman-teman kolaborasi kita, itu pasti akan kesulitan ketika kita harus menyampaikan ide-ide kita itu kepada orang lain, sehingga riset kolaborasi itu menjadi penyeimbang kita sebelum kita metode yang kita usulkan atau sesuatu yang ingin kita propose dalam sebuah karya ilmiah, itu biasanya kita dengan melakukan riset kolaborasi itu satu dengan lain berusaha untuk meyakinkan bahwa metode yang kita usulkan ini memang benar-benar reliable dan disetujui oleh teman-teman yang lain, misalnya seperti itu. Baik, dan yang terakhir adalah proses reviewer. Jadi ini proses reviewing itu memang sangat tergantung dari siapa yang melakukan review terhadap kita. Baik, sampai di sini mungkin ada rekan-rekan yang ingin menanggapi. Kita berikan waktu, silahkan, artinya tidak terbatas hanya dalam proses ini. Mungkin teman-teman bisa menanyakan langsung, artinya proses yang dilakukan oleh Mr. Ajmal ini seperti apa, dan mungkin nanti langsung ditanggapi. Bisa dengan voice, langsung voice, tidak perlu diketik. Silahkan, saya beri kesempatan kepada dua penanya dulu. Ada? Ini mantaunya bagaimana, Mas Dimas? Silahkan. Dari mungkin dari mahasiswa UPI, Mas Raihan, silahkan.
Yes. Is my voice is fine or? To Mr. Cek ini kedengaran nggak ini?
Jelas, jelas. Iya, bisa didengar Mas Raihan, silakan.
Oke. To Mr. Ajmal, I want to ask some question. Is there any way to differentiate between a research that's a trend and that's not a trend? And is it okay for the beginner to follow up trends in terms of research? I think that's about it.
Okay.
Dr. Joko, can you repeat his question? What he said?
Oke. Mas Raihan, sekira dalam bahasa Indonesia apa, Mas? Coba saya ini.
Gini. Dari yang tadi disampaikan kan di dalam research itu kan ada tren dan ada yang bukan gitu ya. Nah, cara membedakan keduanya itu seperti apa gitu. Terus apakah sah-sah saja gitu untuk mengikuti tren sebuah research, terutama dalam perspektif seorang pemula gitu.
Coba saya komunikasikan. Okay, Dr. Ajmal, when students asking about topic, in some case there are some topics that now are trending. I mean, for example, in artificial intelligence, we have some topics that very many researchers very interesting on that topic. How we can choose the topic according to the trends. I mean, is it a benefit or not if choose the trending topics, or maybe we can choose another topic that's not the trending, but it's very interesting in recent years. Example. And the second, the same uh, the same students. How about the beginner? I mean, some beginner in research, they cannot well recognize which topic which are very interesting, or how you can how you have did when you spend in University of Ulsan to get in the first 2 years, for example, to select this is the topic which we will you will use in your. I think these two questions first, Asmal.
So what I understand is the first question is how to select a topic for your research, right? So in my case, for example, or overall, I would say you cannot just select topic in one day. You have to read a lot of papers to understand your interest. So I would suggest that first you should always select a topic that interests you, that you feel like you will love to work on, not like something that is because many people are working on a topic and you want to work on that. So if you select some topic that you are interested, you will put your 1000 effort to work on that. But if some topic you don't want to work on, but it's you just select it because people were working on that, you will have no sometimes no or little motivation to work on. In South Korea, for example, when we come here, we don't know. Uh, for example, when I came here, I selected a different topic to do research. But when I came here in my first semester, we have projects, so we started working on a project, and then I left my topic that I wanted to work on, and then I started working on a different topic. So in Korea, you don't have sometimes you don't have much to select a topic by yourself. Your professor have projects and you have to work on them, and then your topic is changed according to your project. But in other cases, for example, in Europe or UK, they advertise the master position or PhD position according to the project. They don't just randomly advertise the position. So, for example, you when you apply for a position in UK or Europe or Canada or some US, they already know you already know your topic that you will work on. So according to that, they have interview and they check your CV or your documents. So it's more like a very focused uh, uh, more like a very focused kind of research in other countries. So if you feel like you want to follow people, then you are like it's the same like following some people, right? It's a human nature that they want to follow more people are doing something, so they want to follow that. So follow people, it's up to you. And the next
Okay,
question, yeah.
okay. good answer. I will explain in bahasa Ajmal for a while. Baik, jadi Mr. Asmal sudah melakukan sharing tadi bahwa dalam menentukan topik itu banyak hal. Yang pertama adalah dari kapabilitas yang kita bangun tadi, bahwa itu butuh proses pembelajaran. Jadi setelah beberapa, katakanlah beberapa waktu kita mempelajari beberapa penelitian, sehingga muncul interesting itu muncul. Dan memang artinya memang dari keterangan itu baru kita bisa menentukan area yang nanti akan menjadi minat seperti apa. Nah, bisa juga diperoleh dari diskusi kita dengan expert, artinya profesor. Artinya profesor pendamping atau supervisi kita itu mungkin punya wawasan yang lebih luas terkait dengan masalah dunia di luar, sehingga nanti kita ini akan riset kita ini akan dibawa kemana dan akan lebih powerful seperti pernah yang disampaikan juga oleh Mr. Alexander, Dr. Alexander. Dia juga berbicara mengenai proyeksi yang dibuat oleh laboratorium. Jadi laboratorium itu punya semacam keinginan untuk expert di bidang ini. Nah, itu kita bisa menyesuaikan dengan kebutuhan itu juga. Terkadang seperti itu. Karena nanti akan didukung oleh research work dari laboratorium itu. Artinya makin banyak penelitian yang kita buat di bidang itu, maka akan menjadi lebih memperkuat lab kita gitu. Dan yang terakhir yang perlu juga diperhatikan bahwa memilih topik-topik yang tren itu ternyata tidak selalu menjamin bahwa keberlanjutan penelitian kita itu menjadi continuous. Artinya Mr. Asmal, Dr. Asmal tadi menyampaikan kita justru menghindari itu. Karena apa? Karena dengan minat yang memang dibangun dari katakanlah banyaknya orang yang tertarik dengan itu, justru malah kita akhirnya terbawa oleh kondisi dari luar, artinya tuntutan dari luar. Padahal kita sendiri perlu untuk membangun kemampuan kita secara spesifik. Nah, kurang lebih seperti itu. Kira-kira bagaimana Mas Iwan? Mas Rehan, maaf. Sudah terjawab ya?
Yeah.
Baik.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next question is from Mr. Rizky. He asking about presentation skill, Dr. Ajmal. Actually, we have some problem how we can present our idea or our work to others. That's why you have some tips or some experience how we can present our idea and people interesting with our presentation. That's the second question as well.
Yeah, thank you. Risky is very important question for everyone. Even we are a researcher or students or professor. So what I understand is that initially we are when we present we go through many like experience, right? So with experience we improve our presentation skills. So I would suggest that of course you are non-native speaker, right? But if you are presenting uh, your presentation in English, you will have problem in speaking English, or let's say presenting in English. It's totally different from your Indonesian language, right? So what students do is that they only put maybe let's one figure in one slide, and they just start presenting in English. But the thing is they cannot present in English properly. So initially I would say, like, you improve your skill one by one. You put minimum information about your slide that can give the audience that idea that, oh, what you're trying to say. So if you just put one figure and we cannot know what you're trying to say, then audience will be very, they will be like very hard to understand what you're trying to say. But for presentation, initially is by PPT is like you give some small information and you talk about that. But it's different for every country, right? For native speaker, they can easily present in English. But if you are presenting in Indonesian, you are very fluent, so you can put minimum information about your uh, about your PPT, about in your slide, and try to present that. And it's better you try to maybe put keywords or some small sentences in your slides, so people can build upon that idea, not only listening to you. So I will suggest you that always try to put minimum information as a keyword, and follow that flow of your PPT. Yeah. And simple, of course,
Okay.
simple is better. Yeah, simple is better.
Okay. Thank you very much, Asmal. Very inspiring. Mr. Rizky, do you have any other question? Maybe from this uh, answer from Mr. Dr. Asmal?
I think it's enough.
Enough. Okay. Okay. Um, I will not summarize the explanations. Maybe any other question from participants? It's enough. Okay, Dr. Asmal, before we close these sessions, maybe I have one question, because we have uh, more than 3 years. I think I have graduated and we didn't met yet. Uh, about laboratory or campus activity, how now our laboratory very well in fields. Now, in which area, especially in IT, information technology, the research field is very interesting, Dr. Ajmal.
Nowadays, we don't have, the laboratory is a lot different than when I joined. We had many countries: Russia, Panama, and Uruguay, Indonesia, and India at some point. Nowadays, we have only people from mostly Vietnam and China. So we are more like a very different scenario in the lab. And all of us are working on deep learning nowadays, because on traditional ones. Because whenever you submit a traditional algorithm, they ask you, why don't you compare with deep learning? Because deep learning is already 20% or 30% better than the traditional ones. So we are working on deep learning for object detection. We have currently like semantic segmentation, person re-identification project for drone. And in future, we also got a project for human action recognition. So the laboratory is more focused on nowadays on latest techniques of computer vision. So yeah, we are improving, and everyone is publishing in transactions. So we are just have so getting high impact factor paper. So professor is also now, he's thinking more and more. He wants now he
Yeah.
wants TPAMI 20 impact factor.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I know now, many students publish in transactions, I'm very curious about my performance, because last years he doesn't consider about that. Okay, Asmal, we have only 10 minutes to summarize this lecture. Maybe you can give 5 minutes, 3 minutes as conclusion and some tips to the students about how we can improve gain of the research.
Yeah.
Please.
In my experience, I publish good papers, and as a new researcher, yeah, it's very hard to get this kind of papers. But if you imagine, you can do that. You have to imagine actually, and like Dr. Joko said, he don't he couldn't publish in that time because we had different scenario in the lab. But now lab is only the high impact factor. It's hard, but if you try, you can get them, and your career after your PhD, you will be very, uh, you will get very good job later after your publication. For example, now I have offer from UK or Europe or Ireland to join the labs. Initially, even for during my PhD, whenever I apply, I it was very hard for me to get any acceptance for master's program or scholarship for PhD. But now I have good papers. I have more demand from good labs, even more better labs, or even more better environment. So if you challenge now, it will help you later in your career. And now I feel like it was a good decision that I challenged these journals for publication, even though I suffer. It's of course it's hard time, so it's challenging. It's you may get in depression, you may suffer as well from your stress. So but at the end you get better better career in your after PhD or after your masters. So please don't hesitate to challenge good journals. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you very much for your time and your effort to prepare this lecture. First, we want to say congratulations for your successful in defense. Then you will get the doctor degree in the near future. Hopefully, you will get a good job in research. Don't forget to inform me if you join the company in maybe in Europe or in some country. I will invite you again in the next lecture. Okay, thank you Ajmal, Dr.
Okay.
Ajmal for your time. Baik, baik. Demikian sudah disampaikan oleh Dr. Ajmal terkait masalah topik kita hari ini. Mungkin topik ini memang kelihatannya tidak terlalu membumi ya. Jadi memang lebih kepada penulisan jurnal dan juga penelitian. Tapi mudah-mudahan teman-teman bisa juga membayangkan bahwa sebenarnya pekerjaan di dunia riset itu memang sesuatu yang sifatnya continuous dan jangka panjang. Jadi ide saya tidak cukup kalau ide itu tidak berhasil kita yakinkan ke orang lain. Nah, bentuk meyakinkannya tadi seperti disampaikan Dr. Ajmal, yang pertama itu bisa kita presentasikan dulu secara storytelling baik kepada supervisor kita atau kepada rekan-rekan atau college kita. Terus setelah itu kita harus bisa menuliskannya itu ke dalam sebuah paper atau jurnal. Nah, di sini menjadi tantangan sendiri karena ketika kita sudah menuliskannya ke dalam bentuk jurnal, maka tantangannya muncul adalah kita akan berhadapan dengan pakar-pakar yang nanti akan melihat atau mereview paper kita. Nah, ini baru leverage knowledge kita akan semakin terasah ketika kita berhasil men-challenge para reviewer tadi dari berbagai background, dari berbagai institusi, dan juga mungkin lembaga-lembaga yang bisa dikatakan kalau di jurnal-jurnal nomor 1 itu pasti adalah orang-orang
Halo Dr. Joko.
mohon maaf, selanjutnya saya serahkan kembali ke pembawa acara untuk menutup acara ini. Terima kasih. Mohon maaf jika ada kesalahan ataupun mungkin sesuatu yang tidak kurang berkenan bagi rekan-rekan. Saya tutup. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Joko Haryono dan Dr. Ajmal. Selanjutnya kita telah selesai di penghujung acara. Terima kasih banyak narasumber, moderator, serta para peserta webinar pada kali ini yang telah menyimak dan berpartisipasi dalam acara ini dari awal hingga akhir. Semoga banyak ilmu yang didapat untuk diaplikasikan di dalam kehidupan sehari-hari. Terima kasih. Saya mewakili panitia yang bertugas menyampaikan mohon maaf atas ada kesalahan atau perbuatan yang kurang berkenan di hati di partisipan or peserta pada acara webinar kali ini. Akhir kata, terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Mas Dimas dan rekan-rekan sekalian.
Iya, sama-sama Pak.
Baik, saya keluar dari Zoom, Mas Dimas. Terima kasih.
Ya, terima kasih Bapak. Ya, terima kasih Pak.